New Mexico Real Estate Basics, page 30. A protection clause protects the broker from unscrupulous sellers or buyers who take the broker's generated leads and then buy or sell the property after the brokerage agreement expires to avoid paying a commission to the broker. A protection clause can be included in either the listing or buyer brokerage agreement and extends beyond the expiration of the agreement. For listings before the expiration of the listing agreement, the broker should furnish to the owner the names and addresses of the persons to whom the property was presented during the active term of the listing and for whom protection is sought. If the seller enters into a contract to sell the property to one of these buyers during the protected time period, the seller owes the broker a commission. For buyer brokerage agreements, the clause would state that at the expiration of the agreement, if the buyer purchases, leases, or acquires any interest in any property previously shown by the broker, the buyer agrees to pay an agreed-on fee. The broker would have to submit to the buyer, prior to the expiration of the agreement, a list of the seller's names, addresses, and property addresses for which protection is sought. Can a broker solicit another broker's listing? Legally binding listing agreements must be respected by outside parties. Alienating those involved in contractual relationships is illegal. From time to time, a seller who is under contract with a broker may contact a second broker and want to discuss listing with the second broker. The second broker may talk with a seller who initiates the call. However, any listing entered into before the expiration of a valid listing look at, they're messing up on this shit. It should be may be subject, but it's may subject to the seller to liability for double commissions. Can a broker assign a listing to another broker? Listing agreements may not be assigned, sold, or otherwise transferred to another broker without the express written consent of all the parties to the original agreement. Is it illegal for a broker who decides to work for a different broker to transfer listings to the new brokerage? On termination of employment, brokers are not allowed to take or use any written brokerage agreements secured during their employment with the first broker. Brokerage agreements are the property of the qualifying broker and can be canceled only by the broker and the seller, unless the terms of the contract state otherwise. What does the brokerage agreement with a buyer have to include? New Mexico rules do not specifically address additional terms of a buyer brokerage agreement. However, for legal recognition and to be enforceable, all buyer brokerage agreements must be in writing. If the relationship is to be exclusive, then the agreement must so state. The agreement should contain statements disclosing the brokerage policy, if any, on cooperating with and compensating other brokerages. Additionally, the duties and responsibilities of the buyer client and the broker should be spelled out. Compensation issues should be addressed.